the Tart cherry juice is a big thing right now because that's what was just being handed to everyone like after the tour, right? It's just
Yeah.
this topic of conversation. And what I have seen and the general take on that for me and with my clients when they're asking me about that and should I be doing that and should I be adding that to my recovery repertoire along with the recovery drink where I'm aiming for, 4 parts carbohydrate, 1 part protein, is that's not necessarily something that you want to be using long term because it is this anti-inflammatory, right? And inflammation to some degree is beneficial to help our bodies adapt. So it's something that you could use if you were doing a multi-day stage race, if you were doing back-to-back hard efforts, maybe over the weekend, but I wouldn't have somebody do it 7 days a week or
Yeah.
after every single exercise.
Well, I guess this is the same idea as why we don't want to overfuel on a zone 1, zone 2 ride. We want a level of oxidative stress. We want our bodies to
Yeah.
fight. People used to jump into a cold plunge straight after strength training, and then you're preventing that kind of muscle hypertrophy after the session. Like, you want your body to fight for some of these gains.
Yep.
Someone that's listening that hasn't accessed a sweat test before, what's the sweat test you would recommend as kind of the gold standard that they should go out and get done? And once you have the results of that, then is it obvious how you tailor your sports drinks to those recommendations?
Yeah. So for someone that's getting started and wants to get clarity on this, I would have them first do a handful of fluid loss sweat tests on their own in various
that's the Gatorade one?
conditions. That's the Gatorade one. Yeah. So that'll tell them how much fluid they're losing per hour, right? And that will give them a good range, again, for a low end and a high end. So they'll know, like, okay, on my hottest, longest efforts, or really not even on the longest efforts, because you want to do those fluid loss sweat tests actually for like a 45 to 75-minute effort. So you don't have to deal with the variable of taking in solid food because that's a weight thing as well. So you can do it for shorter efforts, but do it in different conditions, different humidity, different temperatures, that kind of thing. And have 3 to 5 of those and have a low end and a high end. And then if you want to get into the sodium loss, then that's when you have to either go and find somebody with a sweat check device. This is a medical grade device. And so Precision Fuel and Hydration has these devices, and they have people that are able to do these all over the place. You can go onto their website. You can find where they're able to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
Scratch Labs has one in Boulder. That's where I've done them before and been able to do them on my athletes as well. And then there's some mail-in options or devices that you can get. Level-In is one. Nix is one. It's kind of getting there. I've tested that against my device that I used at Scratch, the medical grade, like gold standard device, which is the same thing that Precision uses. And it wasn't as accurate as my Level-In test was. So I kind of compared across some different testing options, and Level-In was the most accurate compared to that medical grade device. So it kind of depends if you want to go and take it to that next level. I would say not everyone needs to do it. If you don't have issues with cramping, or if you don't have issues with feeling like you have no clarity on your hydration goals, then maybe you don't need to do it. But if you have historically had issues with cramping or with dehydration, then it's definitely worth getting, or you feel like you're just a really above average heavy sweater.